As many of you know, WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley has been spending the last several weeks recovering from a torn meniscus. Throughout her recovery, she's worked tirelessly with WWE Medical, and she's close to returning. But due to the tricky nature of the injury, into a ladder match at SummerSlam. The winner of the ladder match becomes the interim WWE Women's Champion. And when Rhea does return to competition, we find out who the one and only WWE Women's Champion truly is.
Rhea Ripley is still officially the WWE Women's Champion, but she will not be competing at SummerSlam. So WWE is creating an interim championship. 5 women will compete in a ladder match, and the winner will eventually have to face Rhea to establish the undisputed champion. Now that sounds like a solution, but in what universe does an interim champion solve everything? Because here's the part WWE is not saying loudly enough. An interim champion usually does not create a new permanent championship reign. The original champion remains part of the official title history. So if the interim champion does not truly get the historical credit for winning the belt, why not just strip Rhea off the championship, crown a new champion, and give Rhea her opportunity when she returns from injury? That is the real debate. This is not just a story about Rhea's injury. It is a test of whether WWE knows how to build the next star when a top contender is unavailable. Welcome to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and there's lots to talk about. Rhea Ripley's injury has created a major championship decision, and I think WWE may be choosing the safer option instead of the better creative option. Let's talk about what happened to Rhea. Here's what we actually know. Rhea Ripley defeated Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. She then retained the title against Jade at Clash in Italy on May 31st. Rhea's last known match was a June 3rd live event in Lisbon, Portugal. WWE later announced that she was dealing with a knee injury. Rhea then explained that she had a slight tear in her meniscus, and that her recovery timeline was still uncertain. So the injury is real, and WWE should not rush her return. But protecting Rhea physically does not automatically mean the championship has to remain frozen until she comes back. Rhea has not been defeated, but she is unavailable. The distinction is exactly why WWE has a choice to make. WWE's announcement does not present the SummerSlam winner as the new undisputed champion. It calls her the interim women's champion. Then Adam Pearce says that when Rhea returns, the two will determine who the one and only women's champion truly is. That is the key wording you gotta place in your head. The interim champion can win the ladder match, she can carry the belt, she can defend it, but the story still treats Rhea as the permanent champion until titles are unified. So, historically and creatively, the interim reign is separate from Rhea's official reign. It may not carry the same historical weight as winning the championship outright, and that is why WWE's choice feels a little strange. If the new wrestler is not receiving the full value of a permanent championship victory, why not make the person the actual champion? There's been notes online that this is WWE's first interim main roster championship situation. The company has used interim championship before in NXT, but WWE has traditionally vacated titles when a champion can no longer defend. The older approach creates a cleaner story. The new champion gets a real reign. The injured champion returns and fights to get their title back. To be fair, WWE's decision is understandable. Rhea is one of the biggest stars in women's division as of today. She won the championship at WrestleMania, she defends it against Jade, and the audience still wants to see what happens when Rhea returns. An interim championship gives WWE a ready-made match. Rhea versus Tiffany Stratton, Rhea versus Jade Cargill if they're the winners, Rhea versus a new breakout star. It also prevents Rhea from losing a championship because of an injury. That sympathy can be valuable, but WWE can protect Rhea without keeping the title attached to her indefinitely. Rhea can return as the former champion who never lost. She can receive a guaranteed championship opportunity in the future. She can chase the title. She does not need to be treated as the current champion for the entire period she's unable to compete. This is where the safety of the interim title becomes the weakness of the story. WWE does not need interim champions every time a major wrestler gets injured. The company needs to develop new talent during these moments. That is the opportunity being missed. If Rhea is unavailable, WWE can run a tournament. It can book qualifying matches. It can crown a full-time women's champion. Then when Rhea returns, she receives her opportunity because she never lost the title in the ring. That story is simple. The new champion can say, I earned this while you were gone. And Rhea can also say, you never defeated me for the championship. Both women are right. That is a compelling wrestling story. But instead, the interim championship tells the audience that somebody can win the belt, but the story still belongs to Rhea. New wrestler risks becoming a temporary caretaker. And that is not how WWE creates the next faces of that division. Tiffany Stratton is already Women's United States champion. If she wins the interim championship, she becomes a double champion. That gives WWE an instant headline. But Tiffany does not need an interim title to become a major star. She could win a tournament outright. She could defeat a former champion in a decisive final. She could become the official WWE's women's champion. Then when Rhea returns, the story becomes Rhea wants her championship back from the women who earned it while she was gone. That gives Tiffany more credibility. It gives Rhea a real obstacle, and it gives the title history a meaningful change. Jade Cargill has the strongest emotional connection to Rhea at this point. Jade lost the championship to Rhea at WrestleMania. She then failed to win it back at Clash of Italy. If Jade wins the interim championship, WWE has an obvious redemption story down the line. But Jade does not need an interim title for the story to work, in all honesty. WWE could crown Jade the full champion, then Rhea returns to challenge her. The story becomes Rhea wants the title back from the woman who finally reached the top. That gives Jade a meaningful reign. It gives Rhea a reason to chase. And it allows Jade to become more than the wrestler who lost twice to Rhea. Here's the alternative I would have preferred, to be honest. Vacate the championship, run a tournament, build a tournament around wrestlers who need that elevation. Do not make it feel like a replacement exercise. Make it feel like the women's division is entering a new chapter in the company. The winner becomes a full-time champion, the reign counts in the history, the title history changes, the new champion gets to defend the belt and establish her identity. Then, and when Rhea returns, she receives her opportunity because she never lost the title in the ring. That is fair to Rhea, but it's also fair to the wrestlers who carried the division while Rhea was recovering. The new champion should not feel like a temporary substitute waiting for the original champion to return. She should honestly feel like the person who stepped up when the division needed leadership. The person who should benefit most from Rhea's injury is not necessarily Rhea. It should be the wrestler WWE has not fully established as of yet. Maybe that is a rising talent stuck in the mid-card. Maybe it is somebody who has never won a major singles championship and all outright. Maybe it is a wrestler with the charisma and ability to become a real star, but has never been given the opportunity to do it. WWE should not look at Rhea's absence and ask, how do we keep everything exactly where it was? The company should honestly ask, who can we elevate while Rhea is away? Because if the interim champion does not receive the same historical value as the permanent champion, then WWE is using a major SummerSlam opportunity without giving the winner the full reward of the achievement. That is not necessarily protecting the division. That may be delaying its future growth. And this is where the debate has become bigger than Rhea's injury. Fans are debating not only who should win the ladder match, but what the championship is supposed to represent. Is it Rhea's title waiting for her return, or is it an opportunity for somebody else to become the next major star? So here's honestly, in my fictional brain, my final booking verdict when it comes to this. I would honestly not use an interim championship. I would vacate the title like WWE has done all its history to. Crown a full-time champion and give Rhea a guaranteed opportunity when she returns. Rhea can still be protected, right? She can still be presented as the champion who never lost. But the new champion gets a real reign. The title history gets a change, and the women's division gets a chance to develop somebody new. for the sake of the WWE's future. An interim title can work, but it asks the audience to care about a championship that WWE is already telling them is not fully settled. Stripping the title creates a cleaner story, like I said before. Rhea wants what she believes is still hers. The new champion believes she earned the right to move forward. Both sides have a legitimate argument. That is stronger, honestly, than simply waiting for Rhea's return. Rhea Ripley's injury should not be rushed or exploited recklessly, but WWE should use the creative opportunity intelligently. Rhea does not need an interim champion to remain important. The division needs new talent to become important. That is the key factor. So should WWE strip the title, crown a real champion, and give Rhea her opportunity when she returns? Or should WWE keep Rhea as champion and crown an interim title holder? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. And as always, if the tea hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.